Right, thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this. It's only going to be 5-10 minutes, maybe a few more with questions. This isn't me having a go at anyone, just for starters. It's just to hopefully educate and inform in order to make better decisions going forward, yeah? In terms of the strength and conditioning side of it, yeah? Sound good? Cool. So, a little bit of background about myself. So, as I've not met some of you, my S&C journey started at Everton. We're under 14s and 16s. And then I stayed in Liverpool, did my Masters with the women's under 21s, which was on repeated sprint ability and GPS data. So, looking at the sciencey side of it. Okay? So, my first slide is a question for you. Hands up, who's been injured this season? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, that's a hand. Okay, so about half of us, yeah? What about in the last 2 seasons? Pretty similar, okay. Yeah, so the relevance to this presentation is there. It's not to say that it's irrelevant if you've not been injured, because injuries can happen to anyone at any time, as I found out with 2 knee injuries and a keyhole surgery later. So it can happen anytime and at anyone, to anyone. Okay, and there's some surprising stats that I'll give you as well that shows the difference between males and females as well, and we'll explore those differences. And then the second question is, if it'll work, just to think about for yourself where you're doing the prehab or where you're not, yeah? Just ask yourself that question. Okay, so what is S&C? Before I give you the answers, shout them out. There's 2 main reasons, strength and conditioning. What are the 2 reasons that we do them? Yep, I'll give that. Mitigate injuries. Second one? Who said that? No?
What did you say? Gain muscle.
I'll put that in with that. The second one is increased performance, okay? So 2 pretty obvious ones, it's not a trick question. Mitigate injury risk and increase performance. I always use the word mitigate because you can't prevent an injury, yeah? No matter what you can do, no matter whatever you do, yeah? I use the car crash analogy, so no matter what you do, you can't prevent a car crash, but you can minimise the risk of it happening. So you can add speed bumps, speed cameras, traffic lights, whatever it may be. For us, football players, our speed bumps are our mobility, our warming up, nutrition, hydration, rest, yeah? So looking after, doing the basics. One of the sayings I say is control the controllables and then everything else will just come in place, okay? So why are male and female athletes different, yeah? Similar, but slight differences, okay? So there's anatomical differences, first of all, yeah? So, as I just said, there are only slight differences, but when we're out on the pitch and we've got big forces going through our bodies, high velocities, unexpectedly, it can have bigger implications, yeah? And more serious ones. So naturally, females have wider hips, smaller knees to hips ratios, and this can affect the alignments of the joints, how we move, which is called biomechanics, which can have an influence on injuries, as we're going to look at now. So, I forgot, no one saw that. What is, I hope you didn't see it anyway, someone give me a guess, how much higher are females to injure their ACLs than males?
2 to 8%. 2 to 8 times.
That's a good guess. Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. Yeah, 2 to 8, okay? Even 2 times, you'd think, wow, that's quite a lot, right? But then 8, like, you can't really get your head around that. So that's just one study, yeah? But research generally suggests that females are more prone to ACL injuries, yeah? Has anyone done their ACL?
No, shoulder surgery today.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, yesterday.
Okay. It's not a nice one to do, yeah? I've done my knee twice. It's a horrible one, okay? This isn't to scare you, but it's just to put some perspective into things, okay? Another study found that in non-contact injuries, females are more likely to injure their ACLs in their standing legs. So this could be landing, twisting, turning, jumping, not so much jumping, but landing, twisting, turning, and even kicking in extreme cases, yeah? And in another study suggested quadriceps strains, severe knee and ankle ligament injuries, yeah? Hormonal factors. So obviously, we've got to think about the menstrual cycle as well for female athletes that males don't have to consider, yeah? So a lot of us think that it's to do with mood, which is correct, but also has effect on our body, yeah? So physiologically, it's going to have an effect on things like your joint ligament laxity, so which basically means how loose your limbs are, your joints are, and this can affect joint stability, yeah? So joint stability is really important when we're out on the pitch, obviously, yeah? There is a lot of research in a minute looking into it, but it's quite a hard area to research because it's quite intrusive and need a lot of ethical approval, yeah? So there's a big grey area, but a big question mark around it. Historical differences, just out of interest, hands up if you started playing football after the age of 10. Okay, keep your hand up if it was 12, 15. Okay, so we had quite a few after the age of 12, yeah? So if you think about the amount of time we play football in, let's say, a year, yeah? Every single training session is an S&C session in itself, yeah? Just because you're not calling a session an S&C session doesn't mean it's not strengthening and helping you out, yeah? So the later you start, the less time that you've given your body to prepare for games and for higher level. You know, you guys are playing Spurs. When is it, tomorrow? Yeah? So that's going to be a high level game. But if you think about accessibility as well, so you might not have had the accessibility from a younger age. If you think of the last 5 years especially, now that the England team are doing really well, the women's game has just gone like that, hasn't it? Yeah. So from a younger age, you might not have had the amount of enough clubs in the league, enough players to make up a team. Yeah. So that's another factor to consider. So my next question to you is, how much do you want it? Yeah. I can stand up here all day and talk about why you should do it. Yeah. But ultimately, it's down to you guys and how much do you want it. Yeah. Okay, so going forward, it could be just starting off little, getting yourself in the gym. A few turned up today, which was really nice, and just increase over time, yeah? Don't expect you to come in the gym and start maxing out the leg press or bench press, or whatever it may be, and doing silly Olympic variants, yeah? Just come in and do little by little. It could be your bread and butter, as I call it, yeah? Pulse raise and mobility, which are two really important. And the mobility and activation is really important, yeah? Really easy to do and effective as well. And you do it, you know, for gym and pitch-based sessions. Cardio, plyometrics. I was doing some plyos with the boys earlier today, so that's something to look at your speed, your explosiveness, and your reactive strength, we call it. Seeing results, it's quite satisfying seeing results as well, yeah? Learning, it's always good to learn. Coaching, hands up, does anyone want to go down the PT coaching route? Yeah? Okay. So this is something that I'm doing with my third years, usually about once a week on Thursdays. So what are you doing right? What could you improve on in terms from a coach's point of view, yeah? So it's also good practice to coach, yeah? And lastly, having a bit of fun, you know? Does anyone enjoy going gym here? No? That's fine. I enjoy it. I think it's fun, you know, laugh some steam, listen to some music for a bit, but maybe not for you guys, but that's fine. And then lastly, takeaway points. Every session missed is another session that your opponent has gained an edge on you, yeah? So every session, whether it be a gym session, a classroom session, whatever it may be, yeah? That's a session that a Spurs player is doing right now, yeah? So you've got to think about it and take it personally whenever you miss a session, yeah? Every little 1% is going to add up and add up and add up after weeks and weeks, yeah? There are so many people that would die to be in your position right now, yeah? So don't take it for granted and use it while it's here, yeah? Use the people trying to help you, yeah? Pretty obvious one. And like I mentioned at the start, control the controllables, yeah? So take control of whatever you can control and then let everything else fall into place, yeah? That is it. Thank you for listening and smash Spurs tomorrow, yeah? Thank you.